Hey photographers, I'm Connor Wahlberg, and this is the first training in a three-part series that I've put together to help you land clients. And this works for you whether you've been at it for a while or you're just starting out. If you've been at it for a while, maybe videos 2 and 3 are a better place to start depending on if you have your niche dialed down. That's what I'm going to be focusing on this video. Okay, let's jump on into this. And throughout this, you're going to be seeing photos that I took years and years ago when I was a professional photographer. This is just one in a parking garage that I captured with this cool hole that was in the wall of my friend jumping through after skiing. That's why he has his snow pants on still. Okay, photography is a competitive market. This is true. And if you ever feel discouraged or you feel like that's why I'm not getting clients, it's because it's competitive. There's too many people doing it. That's not the reason. There's a lot of other reasons, and we can beat those reasons. We can get past these things. Now, there are excuses that I hear photographers making all the time as to why they don't succeed. And these are the stories we tell ourselves. They get in our way. They block us from landing clients. They're not working for us. They're working against us. So we want to go ahead and try and knock these excuses down. So I put a few on here to help make this a little easier for you. The first one, everyone and their mother is a photographer. Now, if this was true, is your mother a photographer? Is she actually a photographer? And if she is she competing with you? Chances are not likely, and if she's doing that, then there might be some other issues you need to talk about with your mother. Next, I don't have the best camera or the right lens. It truly doesn't matter if you have the best camera. It matters how good the photos are that you're getting, that your clients are happy. I remember selling photos at an event when I was just starting out, scenic landscape photos that were really pretty low quality that I didn't think were very good, and people were buying them, and they weren't buying them just because they felt bad for me. They were buying them because they liked the images. So it really just matters what the client thinks. I also had to remember this all the time when I would shoot for, magazines or clients that were publishing things, and they would pick the worst image I took. And I'd be like, why that one? Choose any other image. It's what they wanted and what they needed. The next myth, phone cameras are so good, people don't need photographers. It's not about the camera. It's about the photographer's skills. They're hiring you for these skills. Most people can't take a great photo with a camera, or with a phone or a camera. And I know that, it's easy to think that everybody just gets it, but have somebody take a photo with your phone sometime. Try to take a group photo. Look at the way they compose it. Some things just don't make sense. And as a photographer, this all makes sense and seems so simple, but to other people, it does not. People need photographers. My portfolio still needs more work. Let me let you in on a secret. Every photographer's portfolio still needs more work. This is set by photographers who've been adjusting their portfolios for years. I hear this all the time, they go in and they tweak an image. Oh, this image is in the right spot. This needs to be replaced. This needs to be changed out. It's great to be doing this stuff, but maybe you're too focused on your portfolio and not focused enough on actually landing clients. This one, I've tried everything and still can't get clients. Well, first off, there's no way you've tried everything. And even if you have, maybe you've only dipped your toes into everything, because a lot of these strategies and techniques actually take months to master. Some of them can be very quick, but they're usually the uncomfortable ones where you're actually talking to people and, out there in the real world. So any of these approaches that you do can work. There's actually probably a photographer out there using the exact approach you're trying that's landing clients. So they just went deep. They kept going at it and they made it happen. This one, my clients don't pay enough. Well, are you charging them enough? Simple question, right? Don't let them dictate your rates. You get to decide your rates, right? This is up to you, and people are very uncomfortable doing this. But if you're doing a lot of shoots for $50 a shoot and you're like, I'm happy with that, then that's great for you. But if that's not enough for you, then you need to just start charging more. It's as simple as raising your price, and as complicated as getting your mind being comfortable with raising your price. Also, you want to work with the best clients you can find, the ones who are happy to pay you for your work, because they are truly appreciating and valuing your work. They're not just looking for a deal. So it's time to let go of excuses. We need to realize there's a ton of work out there to be had, and we can have it. There's a lot of people looking to hire photographers. So Once we realize that, we can actually start putting in the work that's going to land clients. Once we put all these excuses out of our way and all these reasons why it's not working, because if we just come up with excuses, we don't get anywhere. You can be a successful photographer. And just by watching this video, you're showing that you're ready to get going. Now, there's a lot of different marketing avenues that you can take, and my channel is mostly focused on SEO. It does take time to get that going. So this training is more for like, let's get you a client now. Let's get you a client fast. And if you take action on the training in this video, it's going to really help this process. And I'm also planning on creating a few more in this series to help you get things moving. Business at its core is very simple. It's just a transaction between a person and another person for a service or a product. That's it. One person wants a service, you provide the service. That's it. That's all business is. All these other things that we've made up that we have to have and have to know and have to do are just additional ways to try and get more business. But at its core, it is simple. And when you remember that, things are much easier. So now that we have that out of the way, let's narrow down your niche. That's the main purpose of this training, is narrowing down our niche, because a narrow niche makes all of marketing easier. What is your niche? This is who you serve. And I'm sure you're sick of hearing people talk about niches if you've been watching videos, but this is the key to making it all very simple. It's the number one thing most photographers avoid, or they just skip this. A lot of photographers, I hear it all the time. I want to shoot this, this, this. I also shoot this. I also shoot this. Well, what do you shoot? Everything. Well, that kind of means like, what should I hire you for? Anything? I don't really have anything in mind then. Okay. If you're specific about it, people know what to hire you for. There are so many benefits to picking a niche and going all in with this. First, you're going to know what to post on your site and your socials. You'll know what to say because you know who you're speaking to and what you're talking about. You're not just talking about photography in general. All of your marketing messaging is going to speak to your target client. You don't have to work as hard for the sale. Marketing methods will become clear because oh, I know this audience and I know where they're hanging out. I can go to this coffee shop and they're there and I can start talking to people and land a client. It makes all your efforts laser focused. You're diving into the right things. Your client starts to see you as the expert in the field. So when you talk to somebody about this and you say, this is what I shoot, I'm a real estate photographer, they go, oh, perfect. I was looking for a real estate photographer. And you are the expert instantly. So for years, I actually took all the work that came my way. I knew I wanted to be an action sports photographer, but I still had to pay the bills. So I focused on real estate photography. Now, if you're just starting out as a photographer, then it's okay to experiment in multiple avenues. If you really don't know what you want to do and you have no idea, let people know that you're starting out as a photographer and see if they know anybody who needs a photographer. That works fine at the very, very beginning, but just a little bit in, you really want to pick something for your marketing messaging to make this whole process simple. And even in those early stages, we want to have a main focus. Now, the problem with this approach that I was taking was that my website reflected that I didn't have an approach. I had a portfolio for real estate, I had an action photography portfolio, and a stock photography portfolio. And people were looking at this, and I imagine they'd get to my site and be like, well, what he shoots real estate? Oh, okay, cool. Oh, he shoots action sports. Huh, that's different than real estate. Stock photography? What? It didn't really mean anything. So it didn't give a clear image to my clients. By speaking to so many people, I was actually speaking to no one. And I forgot I put this image in this slideshow. This was a picture of my friend. We were skiing rails in my backyard and he ran into the fence and flipped right over it. So I just thought that was funny and had to include it. So if people were looking for a real estate photographer, then yeah, my work stood out and was really good. But it was kind of buried on my website. The first thing they saw was action sports. Now, if you were looking to hire a real estate photographer and you go to their website and you just see a bunch of pictures of skiers crashing over fences and things like that, then are you going to think you're in the right place? Probably not. The work that I wanted was action sports, but I had these other galleries as well. So that's also confusing to the action sports clients. I didn't really have a clear path on my website, and they were all right there in the menu. It wasn't like I had a separate page that was dedicated to each one. They were just all kind of right there, and it weakened my focus. Do you want to hire the guy that shoots real estate on the side for your real estate project? Or would you rather go to a guy who, like, real estate is their business? This is how your clients are thinking. They're like, I'm going to go to you. I heard you are the best portrait photographer, family portrait photographer. I'm going to go to you. So you'd probably leave the site right away. So if people are finding you online or they're getting to your site because someone recommends them, they're not like going to dive deep to try and figure out if you do what they need you to do. They're going to say, oh, this isn't the right site. So let's talk about how you niche down. This is the key part. There's a few important points to consider, and chances are likely you already have a good feel for how you can niche down. First off, is it going to be profitable? Don't just go with your gut here. Do your research. You can be profitable shooting almost anything. Now, shooting action sports. Yes, I could be profitable with the right clients and everything, but it wasn't necessarily the thing that my website was going to pull them in. I needed to make connections and meet people in the real world to make that business work. Real estate, on the other hand, if I had my website all dialed for real estate and that's all it showed, would have performed really well for that. The next part of your niche. Do you enjoy shooting it? If you don't spend your time doing it. Like, a lot of photographers get stuck in something because it was the first thing someone approached them about that one time, and they got really sick of it really fast, but they get great results. So that person starts recommending them and their business gets built around a niche they don't even like. Focus on what you like because you're doing a creative job that you want to be doing, so you should be enjoying it. Are you good at this niche, or can you learn it? You want to actually be good. You don't have to be the best, but you have to be good. And you can always improve. So start somewhere, even if it's, free shoots with friends, family, whatever, just to build up your portfolio and learn the skill if it's a new niche that you're going to focus on. Okay, once you find a niche that hits all three of these clearly, and you can do your research, look on Google, see what people are doing, look at other people's sites and understand the niche, then go for it. But make sure it's dialed in. Like this guy in the photo. He knew he was going to stick that landing. So, as an example, say you want your focus to be portrait photography. That sounds good initially, but I'm going to be honest. It's broad. Try narrowing this down. And this is the step a lot of people miss. They don't go any more narrow. Senior portraits, dog portraits, studio portraits, business headshots. Which one do you want to focus on? Go specific here because there's a very specific audience looking for you, and it's going to be easier to market if you know exactly what your specific niche is. Marketing as a portrait photographer doesn't stand out. It speaks to everyone looking for that kind of work, and because of that, it speaks to no one. I'd rather hire a specialist every single time. The person who knows what they're doing, who this is their thing, their bread and butter. I'm like, all right, yeah, you're going to get the shots I want. So when I was shooting, when a friend asked me to shoot their wedding, I'd feel honored. I'd feel great about that. I would say no. I honestly did. I didn't feel comfortable shooting weddings. I wasn't aspiring to be one. They should go with someone who's going to get them the results that they want. People are looking to hire experts. They're looking to hire professionals to shoot the shots that they want. Now, if you wanted an action sports person, you could come to me. In my case, I could have simply called myself a sports photographer. But this covers team sports. It covers action sports, individual sports, sports lifestyles, on and on and on. But instead, I was an action sports photographer. I shot extreme sports. I'm the guy who captured athletes doing dangerous things in the backcountry in dangerous places. That was a clear market for me. Hiring me for your school sporting event was not really a great choice. I worked one-on-one with extreme athletes to shoot their sports and their events. And it doesn't mean I wouldn't shoot these other things, and sometimes I did, but I didn't actively promote this aspect. I promoted the aspect I was best at. So here's where people always get hung up. They say, I don't want to get stuck as just a dog photographer, just a senior portrait photographer. I also love shooting weddings and family portraits. Well, you can absolutely still do those. It just means that you're kind of dedicating your marketing efforts to this one style of photography. This is just for marketing. This doesn't mean you can't be anything else. You can't shoot anything else. This is just for marketing. If you wanted to, you could even have a second website that's just for an entire different niche, or a separate hub on your website that you can send people to if they're requesting that niche. But you want to market the one main focus. You want to have one main focus, and everything's so much easier. Now, you can still shoot other jobs. You can still do these other things. If somebody asks you to shoot their wedding and you want to do it and you feel comfortable, go ahead and shoot it. But we're no longer saying, hey, I'm a photographer, jack of all trades. We're saying I'm this specific photographer. And I would compare this to, like, if you were a doctor, let's say you had something going on with your foot. Do you want to go to a heart specialist? Do you want to go to a general doctor? Or do you want to go to I believe it's a podiatrist, someone to deal with just your foot? That's the person you want to go to. They're going to be the best at it. And photography is the same way. Now, it'd be great if we could be the best at everything. It's possible that you are the best at everything. Not likely, but clients want a person who's the best for their specific needs. It's as simple as that. Niching down, it's not about limiting yourself. That's the main takeaway from today. It's about marketing your business in a way that's going to land clients. Marketing your one niche, your one target, very simple. For me, in my business right now, I help photographers do SEO. That is my one niche and the thing that I do for them. Now, this video is to help kind of guide you in the process to finding clients, because there is a gap between when you're starting out and when you really need to be focusing on SEO. So, look around at some successful photographers' websites in your area. See how they build their websites. See how they market their niche. And it's possible they will have multiple niches, because if they've been at it for a while and their messaging is clear enough and they already have a huge audience, then maybe they're able to broaden it. But for the most part, you're going to know exactly what they shoot the second you visit their website. Now, your homework today is to simply narrow down a niche. Take those steps that I talked about earlier, narrow down a niche, and figure out what you should be marketing yourself as. Once you know this, everything becomes easier, because you know where your audience is, you know who your audience is, you know how to talk to them, and you know what photos to show them and how your website should look and feel. Now, in the future, you're going to be able to change this if you want to. If you get tired of the niche, if it's not a good fit, not like you thought it was, you can change things. But stick with this for a little while, and you will start to see some magical things happen as it's easier to market, easier to talk about, and it's going to make a huge difference in how you run your business.